Roaring Kitty.
Cheers to all y'all. Surprise.
GameStop shares trading by higher over 80%.
GameStop surging again.
GameStop shares are surging after a Reddit account linked to the meme trade influencer.
He's back in the news again, and he is doubling down on what he did last time, revealing multiple big positions on GME or GameStop, highlighting that again, he likes this stock. So let's dive into this and let's see what's actually going on with Roaring Kitty and what he's actively doing with this stock. And you're gonna see some crazy moves. Disclaimer, I don't think you should trade this stock, but it is really cool to kind of look into it and see what's going on.
I'm not a cat.
So let's go ahead and let's start right here and look at his positions. So as you can see right here, he's got two GME positions. One is an actual stock position and the other one's an option position for call options. Now, when you look at these numbers, it is absolutely insane how high up his total gains actually are. Like, we're looking at 85 million in total gains, but that's what ends up happening when you take massive positions like this. So if we go ahead and we look at this, you're gonna see he also did this June update on the second, so it's just highlighting how his position's kind of playing out and how it's moving with this stock. And realistically, it's going to be some big ass moves because you've got big amounts of money coming in, big amounts of money going out that's just trying to get on the bandwagon and make some quick money here. So if we go ahead and we look at this, you can see Roaring Kitty's post seems to show some traders held on to giant GameStop stakes after Monday's rally. So there are some people holding. We've got some diamond handers out there still trying to keep this vibe going. But the thing about this is, if you look at the total number of shares that he has, so he has 5 million shares in GameStop and then also 120,000 call options. Now those call options are going to be expiring on the 21st. So it's going to be really interesting what ends up happening on the 21st. Now what's going to be interesting on the 21st is this right here. So he has these call options, but it may actually be a lot trickier to cash out because of course you can exercise the call option and actually buy the stock, or you can go ahead and you can sell those options contracts. Now, either way, it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to actually go through that process. And the reason for that is because if you want to sell options, of course, there has to be buyers that want to buy those options. Now, if we look at this chart, you're going to be able to see right here, coming into June, how many options actually opened up. Just towards the end of May into the beginning of June, the amount of options contracts being traded goes up substantially. It's absolutely insane. Now, it's going to be difficult for him to even sell a partial chunk of his options without it drawing a ton of attention and also highly fluctuating the way that the stock is going to actually stand. Now, if we go ahead and we take a look at GME right now, you're going to see we've had all these big pushes and then big pushes down, going up, going down, and then we're kind of leveling off right now at this level right here. So you can see we've formed a bit of a support range right here and then a little bit of a resistance range coming in right here. Will it push back up through that? What will end up happening on Friday? It's a big gamble. That's the thing about this. There's no real data behind why this would move a certain way. A lot of emotion and a lot of people coming in just trying to make some money, which of course means random fluctuation. So we have this range right here. Now what could end up happening, of course, is he could be a long-term hold trader. So that could be something where he actually does want to hold these stocks long-term. So he may actually exercise those contracts and buy those shares at the lower price that he got with those call options, which of course would put a lot of liquidity within that stock. There would be a ton of money coming in and that would push the stock higher, which of course would mean the bandwagon's back on the road and everyone would be coming in buying that stock again. So there is a high likelihood that it could push very, very high on Friday, but I mean, this is all speculation. We actually don't know what could end up happening. Now, there are a couple tricky ways that he could exercise these options without actually creating a big, crazy movement within the stock. And that's highlighted right here. So it says that what he could end up doing is instead of just going and selling his options, he could actually go and short 12 million shares of GameStop before the options expire. So if he's shorting 12 million shares and he has that amount of shares available within his call option, he's essentially offsetting it, which would make it like a balanced offset, meaning that in theory, he could exercise his options, buying the stock at $20 a piece and use the shares to close out his short position, which, I mean, that would be a really interesting play to see if he plays it out that way. I'm just curious, I'm just curious to see how this actually goes. So I'm going to be watching it this Friday. But if we go ahead and we look at this, this is just a massive bet, $116 million bet. And the funniest part about this is he hasn't posted on YouTube in so long. And then he came out and he did a live stream back on June 7th. I actually watched this and he ended up showing his live position that he had right here. So you can actually see, I'll go ahead and I'll just play this for a quick moment just so you can see that it did actually come through. He actually ended up showing his position. He had some weird stuff all over his body, just kind of making himself look beat up. But absolutely crazy positions, seeing what's going on. This is all playing out right now, and there's kind of not, I would say, a grand finale, but a big kind of pivotal point happening tomorrow. So I'd say go ahead, watch the stock, be a part of history, see what happens, but don't get to the point where you're actively investing in this. I don't think it's a good thing to do unless you literally have some burn money that you just want to be a part of this, see what happens, take a gamble, and see if it's something that actually plays out. But it 100% would be a gamble, and that is the GME way, that is the Roaring Kitty way. So I'm excited to see what happens, and I hope you are too.